Forget CTAs. Do this instead.
Welcome to Useful.
Useful Fought Famous.
Every time. I always mess up the intro.
It's perfect.
Welcome to Useful Not Famous. This is the show where we teach you how being useful helps build your brand and your business. I'm Amara Andrew.
And I'm Jeff Sarris.
I don't know why I said my full name, but
That's fine.
welcome to the Useful Not Famous cult. So how is this show ordered?
So we have 3 5-minute segments. We have this little timer here if you're watching on the YouTube. We set 5 minutes on the timer and we talk about our topic, why you need to do this. Then we have a little...
What?
And then at the end we have how. So it's a 15-minute show. So why don't we dive right in?
15-minute show that's never 15 minutes.
We do our best. I mean, we're losing time.
Our
Let's
last
go.
episode was 33 minutes. Okay, well, we just have so much we want to provide.
Yeah, if you listened last week, you actually, you would know why, because we were talking about scoops and the importance of scoops, but we talked about one aspect of scoops that's extremely important that we couldn't dive into, so we pushed it to this week.
Yes, so tell me a little bit about, so the topic this week is brand closers. So I guess just start with, what is a brand closer?
So I mentioned CTAs at the top of the episode. A CTA is a... What?
I was going to say, what's a CTA? Besides the Chicago Transit Authority.
So a CTA is a call to action. So something like, click here for more info, or call this number now for blah, blah, blah.
Or I'm a Nigerian prince, give me all your money. Is that it?
They'll have a CTA in that, but it's not quite that. But yeah, it's a call to action. It is asking someone to take an action. But what most people do is they'll, in every video, say, don't forget to like and subscribe, and things that now we have all learned to ignore. Like we learned to ignore advertisements. Like that's just something, like we can tune them out, whether we're listening to the radio or a podcast, watching TV, any of the things. You're just smirking. I feel like you want to say something.
Sorry, I just keep thinking of the Mins because advertisements suck. I just keep wanting to shout it out.
Yeah, so the Minimalists, like that's a brand that I've worked on for years. And when they do their tours, they do a podcast tour in front of an audience of about 2,000 people or so. And it's just funny because they always say, this podcast is brought to you by no one. And then they just put the mic out.
Because advertisements suck. It's very fun to see.
Yeah, it's fun. That's their own little cult. But anyway, so today we're talking brand closers. So what a brand closer is, it's different. A CTA is what's in it for me. A call to action is do this for me.
You as the performer or the person putting out the content, right?
Yeah, the person on camera, on microphone, whatever it is. Like, do this for me. Like and subscribe. Where a brand closer is different. A brand closer starts to build awareness and build your brand, but it also is about them, the viewer, the listener, the viewer.
The alien. I was like, where are you going with this, Sarris?
I was going to say watcher, and I was like, wait, that's a viewer. Okay, anyway.
No, I like watcher.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. They could be a watch. Can you be a watcher and a viewer at the same time? I don't know. Is viewer active or passive?
But anyway, there's 2 parts to a brand closer. Who I am, and then what's in it for you, the audience, for you, the viewer, listener, watcher. So we're going to dive into sort of a template on how to actually do it. But did you want to give any examples or have any input on this part
I think
before I go further?
Yeah, I think we'll sort of save that for later in the how section of how to create your own brand closer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically this is identity and value is what we're talking about. And brand, if you've listened before, is what people think and say about you when you're not around. So the value of crafting this identity and sharing this identity with someone, that's brand. You're handing them an identity to understand who you are and put you in a little box. We've talked about boxes too in an earlier episode.
And too, when people sneeze you out to their...
Explain what that means.
So it means that you have people who are so devoted to you and such a great fan base, like that they believe in you so much that they'll not literally, that they will figuratively sneeze you out to other people. So they'll spread your message, your idea, your who you are. Yeah, your idea virus to multiple different people Like
And
it's so it makes a whole web.
And that's the sneeze. But
Yes.
why it's a sneeze
The
is because
sneeze.
conceptually it's a virus. They are spreading your virus for you.
Yes. So whatever it is, that is what your brand closer is in a way, because you are telling people who you are, what you have for them, and what it'll do for them all in one. So then when somebody's like, oh, have you seen this person who does the news or whatever? Like we talked about last week with Scoops. Time. That they'll be like, oh, they'll remember. It's a very Pavlovian sort of conditioning, because you are conditioning somebody to associate your name with your whatever your occupation is, which we're going to talk about that more in the third section, but then also with what you provide to people. So why they should trust you, or why they should listen to you, or why they should know you or watch you.
Well, and it's a little what's the best way to say it? I want to say manipulative, but not manipulative bad.
That's what I mean. It's very Pavlovian, where you're training people to have this. So like, for example, in one of mine, so I will provide a small example. I have like 20 of them because I have so many different types of content. But in one of my brand closers, and I make videos just like this for local small businesses. And then I have a little extra afterward, which we can get into later.
Yeah.
But now people know, oh, she makes video for local small businesses. I've already had 2 people reach out, and I've only been creating this type of content for 2 months straight. For a little bit. Even.
Probably.
I'm on my 2nd month right now.
Yeah, you're entering it. So probably like 4 weeks.
But
Just thinking Miami was a month ago, which is crazy.
Okay, yeah, never mind that. But now I've already had people reaching out because they're like, oh, she makes video content or whatever.
She makes in your region.
So telling people who you are and what you can provide to them, and also what you do, it will have that. I wrote it down because for the Pavlov experiment, which if you have no idea what that is, you should check it out. It's very interesting. It's basically a dog and a bell, salivation, and food. And it's a positive conditioning. But basically you have a neutral stimulus, which in this experiment is the bell, but for a brand closer, it's your name becoming associated with a meaningful stimulus. So in the experiment, it's food, but in a brand closer, it's being resourceful, being useful, helpful to people.
Yeah, what's in it for them?
Exactly.
And the word, I said manipulative or whatever I said, but it's influence. You're influencing them to remember this little thing, and it's consistent every time. So then it becomes like Walter Cronkite had, and that's the way it is. He didn't say who he was, because you've already been watching or listening.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Much longer, but that was a brand, an audible brand that you would know from the repeated exposure.
So actually, really quickly then, before we get to the next section, should you change your brand closer often? Never? Always? How often would you say? Since
we haven't given an example yet, we might be jumping the gun to say, but I think we need to have it consistent a little. Like, for example, we both have long brown blonde hair, and we always wear black.
I pay money to be blonde, not brown blonde.
Well, I'm trying to just say, like, we have a specific look that people recognize us anywhere we go. People know the name Maven.
Well, yeah, like
it's similar to the shirt I'm wearing says useful, not famous, if you're not watching. But in a similar font, I normally wear a shirt that says Maven, or Amara wears a shirt that says Maven when we're out and about, and then people recognize the brand.
Or even this is so silly, but I wear checkerboard Vans all the time because they catch your eye, and I love checkerboard. Like, I love black and white. That's like my favorite color combo, even though people would argue it's not colors, but whatever. But I wear checkerboard Vans. When people that I know wear checkerboard Vans, or they see them on me, they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. They'll send me photos and be like, I'm wearing your shoes or whatever, which is so funny because that's just become part of our brand. But anyway, we're going a little further away from brand
so consistency. Closer. Like, consistency with everything is so important. So consistency of the brand closer, finding one that conveys what you want to convey and sticking with it for a little bit. So people start to be like, oh, remember that person, for Scoops, Like she always has the scoops and the news for XYZ town.
Yes.
Yeah. So, segment 2, 5 minutes on the clock.
What?
Yeah. What are we doing here?
I don't know. I didn't get this far. I got to brand closers, and then I was like,
clauses.
Clauses.
So we might be recording 2 episodes today. I don't know yet. We'll see.
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm not
maybe.
entirely
This will be the
sure.
first time we would be doing 2, but we are about to hit the road again.
Yeah.
Like I am in the weeds building our product. Have I said the name of it?
Yeah,
we
you
said
did last
Hiveway,
week.
but did I say?
I think so.
I don't
Or
know.
maybe we didn't last
I don't
week.
know.
I don't remember.
Yeah, so everything grows and changes as you evolve. So there's 2 separate products that we're building, but they might be evolving into one, potentially.
Which is exciting.
Yeah.
But it's been quite a process. I do wish we had documented everything so much more, because
What do you mean? Like documenting what you do for people so
I know.
they can follow along and feel invested and feel like they had a part in something?
yeah, it's almost like that helps build a business or something. But we've just been so busy this past year, these past 2 years, that I didn't even think to be recording all of these moments where we've had so many pivots and changes, and especially with the products that you're building, it's unfortunate, but I'm starting to record little bits and pieces now, because then maybe I can eventually put it out.
I mean, that's the
put that
beauty of the
video out.
podcast. The more we talk about things here,
Yeah,
the better.
that is true. Well, yeah, maybe on the next episode or something, we need to actually talk about sort of the journey a little bit of how it came about, because I know we need to think about it. I don't want to put you on the spot right now, because I'd be like, tell me, when did you start? So if you are building a product, definitely make sure you are recording every part of it, because that is very valuable.
So yeah, it's easy for us to do it for other people, because what we do is service. Like we are not in a like religious kind of way, like of service, but like we run service businesses.
Mm-hmm.
We do the things other people need done for them
At the peril of our own.
Oh yeah, but like our whole thing is doing the things that they otherwise don't have the time and energy to do, which is something we could use as well.
I know, we need an us.
Uh-huh.
We need to clone ourselves. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I finally finished my book, Hitmakers.
Uh-huh.
It was very good. That was by far one of the best books I've ever read.
I'm still about 40% of the way through because I have 3 books I'm reading.
Well, yeah, you read cyclically. That's actually a very interesting way that we read, because I hated having to do that in like school, where you would read 3 different books or 4 different books. I like to just sink into one and like think in that mind space and then go to the next one. But I think there's value in it, because then you're taking all these ideas, all these disparate ideas, and blending them into one.
You mean me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, so I'll read multiple books in different areas at one time. And that's why I like it, because I don't like to just stick with one idea. I like how it forms disparate things in the back of my mind. Last week, 3 separate times, the importance of taking a break and letting your subconscious solve problems. It came up 3 separate times, which is really weird. Mm-hmm. But that is what we've been doing now too, is we've been home for about a month, almost a month. Yeah. It's been very good. Like we've made so much forward progress on various things within Maven for our products, for the actual, like what we're offering for Maven even, mm-hmm. which is interesting. We'll talk about the VIP experience, I don't know, maybe in a couple weeks, because how that is going to be run in August is going to be completely different. Yeah. But we're very excited into what it is to do what it is now.
Make some friends with previous people, just FYI, because you will not be able to get in.
But yeah, the subconscious, letting that formulate all these ideas. Mm-hmm. Like reading straight through a book is very valuable too, because you're focused. Mm-hmm. I was going to say I don't focus, but I really do focus.
No, you do. It's just a different way to approach ideas and knowledge, because like there is definitely a benefit to that, because then you can take this little bit up here, apply it to this, and then be like, oh, okay, it's just like looking at like time. It's just like looking at history. Like you can see, if you read various different things, it's interesting to be like, oh, I don't know, Winston Churchill was up here, and you read a whole book about Winston Churchill. Then you read a book about this chair, and it was only made because Winston Churchill was so big he couldn't fit.
Yeah,
like
Winston Churchill and Winston Churchill.
And then you read about this hill, and then her church chair hill. Anyway, but you read all these different things, and you see how everything's so tied together. So anyway, it's more lifelike the way you read, whereas I find that I get the most out of it when I'm just focused on one book, because then I can take all my ideas from that one. I don't know. It's just interesting is all.
I think there's one more thing. Because I sort of savor the book a little bit, but I think not moving on to the next chapter or section has the last thing I read linger more, actually.
Yeah, it ferments in your brain.
Yeah, because I haven't like shifted the thought of this concept. Because like I have a philosophy book, sort of a business book, and then more like marketing. Sort of the three things. It's so weird because they're not. It's Hitmakers, Deep Work, and Thick Face were the three. But they're interconnected, but they're really different topics.
Very different.
So I think being able to do that I may have subconsciously figured out a little hack for me to have my subconsciously, whatever, but like my non-active thinking, problem-solving brain, I might innately do something that lets it function better. I don't know.
I would say that they all, though, are very closely connected, even though they're very different. They're a lot closer than you would think.
Dear listener. Okay, so 5 minutes. We've only been recording. I don't even know where it says on here. It doesn't say time on here. Anyway,
there is
5
no
minutes.
time.
And we are in the how do you actually make a brand closer? How do you use it? Where do you put it?
So before,
what does it smell like?
Bad haircut.
I like that we have so many inside jokes that we'll never explain, because it would take longer than the episode to explain why saying bad haircut is funny to us right now.
But it's also like, it's funny to us, and when we have to explain it, it's not funny. Not. So, okay, so before, how many parts would you say a part de blanc closer?
Les incompétents. Okay. What?
Jesus. How many parts are there to a brand closer, would you say?
So I would say it's technically 3, but I would say 2.
Okay, so I would technically say 3. Mm-hmm. But for me, it is starting with your name, what you do, so what your occupation is, like why, just what your profession is, what sort of service you offer or whatever.
Yeah, the thing that will actually benefit you to say.
Yes.
So not just like, I work at the mines.
Yeah, this is the only part, as people do.
Yeah, normally.
Well, people actually still do. But this is like what your business is, essentially. Just this is your tiny little advertisement that doesn't feel like an ad, because then the next part is why, like what people should expect from your content. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it's so like, to me, I say 2 parts because it's identity, value.
I like how you emphasized identity. I don't think you've ever said the titty.
Identity.
Oops. Oh, potty mouth me. So, for example, some brand closers we do with some of our top bananas, as well as for me, because like I said, I have 40 of them now. One of them is for Mr. Kevin Goldman in LA Calabasas area. And he does, I'm Kevin Goldman, LA chef realtor, and I keep up with all things Calabasas so you don't have to. He varies on them sometimes.
Yeah, he has fun with them because he's Kevin.
Just because he's hilarious. So like some of them is like, he has a gluten intolerance that he just learned and he eats all the gluten. So one of them was, my name's Kevin Goldman, LA chef realtor, and I eat all the gluten so you don't have to. It was just very funny. So that's one of them. Mm-hmm. And then another person, I'm Amy, realtor and fourth generation Lombardian, and I know this area inside and out. Lombard is a town near Chicago, so
Yeah, and I know this area inside and out, and that's an
yes.
implied value. It's
Mhm.
not, because we actually were sort of playing with it. Like, do we say, so you can learn more? Da, da, da. But that actually is already implied from saying, and I know this area inside and out.
Exactly.
It says, I'm a realtor who's lived here forever, like my whole life. And I know this area very well, which then conveys, oh, I want to know the area better. Let me follow, let me like, let me do whatever you have to do on the platform to get more of it.
Exactly. And like the fourth generation, like her family has lived in that town for 4 generations. So she's very like connected to the community and then thereby knows way more about the area than most normal people would know. So then like I teased one of mine for a secret profile we have. If you find it, don't follow it.
Yeah, if you do, like, truly, if you find the Scoops account that Amara's face is on
please
all
don't.
over, don't follow it, because it really is only, the goal is to only have local people.
Yeah.
So
we actually did have somebody that we know from another thing
yeah, which
find
is
it
sweet,
and follow it.
but
It's super sweet.
But that's the thing, is like, we truly, like, again, useful, not famous. We'd rather have 23 followers who are in the town than 223 or 2023 who aren't, because the whole point of it is hyperlocal.
Yes. So then one of my other ones is or one of mine is, my name's Amara and I make videos just like this for local small businesses, and I keep up on all things town so you don't have to. And then finally, my final one, my name's Amara and I fly all over the country to film with realtors in their market. And I think that's it, actually.
And I keep up on social media news, so you don't have to. So
yeah,
so you don't have to is very easy to replicate.
Yes.
But there's other templates we can, if you have questions and want your own template that isn't, so you don't have to, kind of thing, we can always help. Just DM us on Instagram.
Yeah, we're a lot more creative with our Top Bananas brand closers, just because for me, just because for mine, it was, let's just get this out there and just make it as easy and quick as possible. And don't be afraid to try a couple and see which one feels the best for you. I guess at the end of the day, that's it. So your name, what you can personally benefit from, like you as the person presenting this to someone, and then what people can expect from your content. Try out a couple different ones. Like I've tried a few different.
I mean, that is something to really, like, it's not one and done.
Yeah.
Like,
I just don't want people to have analysis paralysis. Like, this is it. This is the only thing I can do. Because so many people get caught up in that for all manner of social media creation.
And both sides of that.
Yes.
Like not doing it because it's not perfect, but also not changing it when you feel like, oh, wait, this isn't quite right.
Exactly. So just try a couple. Like it has to feel right coming from you. Otherwise, it's just going to look kind of weird on video. You're going to sound kind of weird. You're not going to embody it, and it's not going to seem as confident. Whereas when you find yours, then it's like, oh, cool. Like this person knows what they're doing, or they know what they're talking about. So again, like Jeff said, it's so weird saying your name. I call you Honey Bunches.
No, you don't. We have other nicknames. But again, we're not going to share them on the podcast.
Go to our Patreon if you want to hear what I call it in private. Useful Not Famous After Dark.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, if you have any questions, please make sure to share them in your story and we will answer them on next week's episode, which I think we're going to record in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe. It might be the first batch recording. Also, we have an article all about brand closes. If you go to whatismaven.com/brand-closers, you'll find all that there, where you can dive deep and find everything.
Are you going to put it in the notes?
I don't know.
I just realized we didn't put the Descript link in the notes last week. Well, it should be there now by the time this comes out.
No.
I'm going to forget.
See you next week.